So it's that time, the spark question of the week. I'm Danny Palacio, and I am happy to be here with you. This is an interesting question. It comes up a lot. I think it's a very common uh, question. I think it's a common perspective. And so the question is your glass half full or half empty? And I love those images where, you start to look at the image and you see an old woman, but then someone else sees that it's a tree, um, because it's both, right? And this question for me, I think you probably all, if you've listened to any of my podcasts or any of the Spark questions, is probably going to answer. For me, you'd probably say the glass is half full because I look for the positive. I look for the opportunities. I want to learn the lessons in this life. And I would say you are correct. I am the type of person that looks at things half full because because for me, it helps me stay closer to the truth of who I am. And it also is a perspective that is necessary um, in this world. There's so much chaos and there's so much struggle and there's so much death and destruction. And it's just very, very sad. There's a lot of negative things that happen to individuals, to countries, to just groups of people. And so for me it feels better to look at how is the glass half full instead of if it is, because sometimes it doesn't feel like it is. Sometimes it feels like it's freaking empty. so um but how could I shift my awareness to see it as half full? Now the other side, I'm going to be the devil's advocate here, and that just means that I'm going to look at it from a different perspective. But if the glass is half empty, oh well, what does that mean? Um, and what do you make it mean if the answer for you is, well, it's a half empty? Look at it. It's totally not full. Like, I'm exhausted. Like I just said, the world is challenging. There's chaos. There's atrocities happening. And so, yeah, it's half full. And my next question to you would be, if it is half full, how can you fill it? What can you think? What can you do? How can you invite in an emotion, an energy, to start to fill that cup, to start to fill that glass, to maybe it's not all half empty, right? Maybe you can grow it to full. And why I want to encourage you to do that is because if you are the glass is half empty, it's an important perspective, just like half full is. They're both necessary. But to stay in that half empty energy all the time, to always have that be your answer, oh, it's look at it. I mean, you have your justifications, you have your reasoning as to why it feels like it's half empty. I want to challenge you and just ask, how can I start to fill the cup? Because half empty has a really low frequency. It does not have a life-giving vibration that encourages you to expand, to find joy, to feel joy, to have love, to know love, to be in that ecstatic, passionate, desiring kind of state, right? And that's those kinds of thoughts, energies, and emotions put you in a place for possibility to occur, and it opens doors that you don't even know exist. And that is like the beauty of life. That can be the miracle of the moment. And so the question is your glass half full or half empty? Be truthful with yourself, whatever that answer is, and allow yourself to have that answer shift. There are days where it has been so challenging, and all I want to do is crawl into my bed, pull the covers over my head, and not exist for a while. And if you ask me in that moment, the glass is empty. It's half empty, and it's definitely on its way to empty. And I embrace those moments because they don't happen very often for me, which I am so grateful for. I feel very blessed to be able to say that. And so I let those emotions come because if I haven't said it already at some point, I believe that emotions are like waves in the ocean. They come and then they go back out. And then they come in and they crash and then they go back out. And so the ocean is never still. It's always kind of moving in that, especially when you're on the shore, you can see the waves coming in. And that's how I view an emotion. Some waves are longer than the other, I will admit. But yeah, and if your glass is always half full, like it is typically for me, give yourself those moments of compassion. Don't get too rigid into the, oh, I have to maintain this personality. You are so much more than a personality. You are a complex, multidimensional, beautiful being that is here in human form, and you are exquisite. And in that experience, you have the full range of what it means to be human. So I wish you a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your week. If you haven't listened to the last podcast, it's a thing about questions, what if type questions. And I hope that you take a moment to explore that when you have time. All right, take care.